This video is a demonstration of how I use Bandicam, a screen recording software, to record videos of Thief gameplay, and how I use the VSDC free video editor to combine the Thief clip with other clips, such as the one I'm now recording, into one video, and how I also use the editor to add a gamma correction to the Thief clip. So before I get into how Bandicam works or its settings, I want to show you a bit about the resolution I'm using. So this is my screen resolution. And you can see right now I have it at 1680 by 1050. This isn't the maximum resolution that I can use. The maximum resolution for the screen is 1920 by 1200. That's where I usually have it set. But at that resolution, Bandicam ceases to record for a reason I don't fully understand yet. So I've set it back a notch to 1680 by 1050. That's perfectly okay because my objective ultimately is to downsize it to a 720p resolution for uploading to YouTube. So this works just fine. Also, there's this setting. It's the DPI for the monitor. This makes text and objects look larger to have it set at 150%. This isn't where I usually use it. I usually use it here at medium with my full screen resolution, and that works fine for my everyday work. But for making this video, I've got it magnified so you can see it better. Okay, back to Bandicam. On the top row, there are several recording modes. This is the game recording mode I would use for Thief. This is the screen recording mode I'm using for this video. And here's a mode where you can record directly from your webcam. I haven't tried that yet. These other two work fine. So for the screen recording mode, which I'm using right now, when you first click that button, you get a little menu that appears at the top of your screen. I can't demonstrate that now because I can't record and look at that menu at the same time. Anyway, the menu appears up here someplace, and on that menu is an hourglass, which you can click to choose your window. And if you then click in a blank part of the screen, it will pick the full screen, which in this case is 1680 by 1050. Okay, so it's now recording at that resolution. So I've got these stop and start hotkeys, which is set to F1. I've got a pause hotkey, which is set to F2. This F1 is the most important. That's what I use to stop and start the recording in Thief, because the Bandicam window is not visible, so I need to use that. Also here I've got it checked to show the mouse cursor. That's necessary so you can see what I'm doing with the mouse. Otherwise the screen would just have no mouse and you wouldn't be able to follow what I'm doing. I also have checked to add mouse click effects. That's a little video sprite that shows up whenever you click your mouse. It's not necessary, but it doesn't hurt. Okay. In this settings window, the most important thing, which you have to check before every recording, because these settings can get messed up, is the primary sound device and the secondary sound device. For recording from the screen, I only need one sound device. That's the microphone. That's my Sound Blaster Z microphone, which is a pretty decent microphone, and it has the capability of directional behavior, so it doesn't pick up sounds throughout the house. The secondary sound device is disabled for the screen recording, but I'll be using that in Thief. Okay. In this settings window, I'm recording the video full size. I'm using this codec, H264, the NVIDIA version of it. That version of the codec interfaces directly with the libraries on the graphics card, which is an NVIDIA 760. And it permits the CUDA libraries to use the cores of the graphics processor to accelerate the data collection with hardware. Otherwise, you're using software. Right there is the software version of it. Okay. Audio MPEG-1 L2, bitrate 192, frequencies 48,000, that's fine. Okay, so that's it for the Bandicam settings. Now, if I want to record a thief video, I need to change these settings. So I want to disable the mouse cursor. I want to disable the click effects. And I want to go to these settings. So for the primary sound device in Thief, I use What You Hear. That is the sound that's coming from the sound card that's played through your speakers or your headphones. Speaking of which, you need to use headphones for making all these videos, because if you don't, the speakers will feed back into the microphone. Now for the secondary sound device, when I'm recording Thief, I'm going to use this microphone. That's the same microphone. And note that I have checked 2 sound mixing, meaning the Thief audio and the microphone audio mixed into one audio track. Okay. Now those settings don't take effect just now, as you can tell, because this video is still working. They take effect as soon as I hit this and start recording a Thief video. I can't do that right now because it'll terminate this video. I'll show you what happens. If you change the recording mode, the recording will be stopped. Are you sure you want to continue? No, I don't. What I want to do now is exit Bandicam gracefully, stop the recording by hitting this. After I do that, I'm going to close Bandicam and start Thief. Then put Thief to the desktop. Then open Bandicam, make sure these settings are all correct. Then minimize Bandicam to the desktop. I'm sorry, to the taskbar. Then I'll bring Thief back up again, pick where I want to start my recording, and hit this F1 to start the recording. Okay, that's it for the Bandicam demo. I'm going to stop this recording now. So here we are in Thief. In order to get to this stage, what I did was to close Bandicam completely, start Thief, put Thief on the taskbar using the pause key, start Bandicam again, check its settings, click on the icon to enable game recording, minimize Bandicam, bring Thief back up, and hit the F1 key, which starts the recording. So this is where we are now. I'm going to load a game from a previous save to show you something. This is just after entry into the compound. Here's a guard coming with a lantern, so I better get going. So I'm going around to this side of the building, and what I plan on doing is checking some boundaries for gaining entry into the building. One of the objectives is to enter the building. So I'll show you that objective right here. Find a way into the old abandoned Hammer Temple. I haven't done that yet. Here comes another lantern guard, so I'd better move out of the way so he won't see me. Then I'll go check those entries. Okay. So in the previous version, there was a problem when I went up top to the Ice Beast cage. The objective checked off as having entered the building when I first got up to the cage, which was incorrect. So I'm going to save this just in case it checks off again. I don't think it will. I'm going to go up the ladder. And right, there's your ice beast in his cage, and it did not check off, so that means that part of it's been fixed. So here's another entry boundary, a wall that you can jump over and get into the church. That should be a boundary for entry. So I'm going to save it here again. I'm going to mantle up here. So there's the inside of the church. If I go down here, I should gain entry. There. Right there, that plane. When I cross that plane, I've entered the church. That's as it should be. So that works. So I'll reload the save game. So the objective is no longer satisfied. I'm gonna go back and try something else.
What's that?
Oh, Mr. Beast.
Nothing now.
Well, I'm going down this ramp on the opposite side of the building from that ladder. Here's another entry point. I'm going to save the game here and enter by crossing this boundary. So now I'm in, as I should be. So I'll reload that save. The objective is no longer satisfied. So now I'll go back up. While I'm here, I might as well pick up a piece of loot. Some dice in this cage. That's fine, right? So now I'm going to go up this ramp. And the objective complete chimes. So the objective I just satisfied by going up that ramp was find a way into the old abandoned Hammer Temple. That's not correct because this isn't an entry into the building. So I brought this up on the forum, testing forum. John, the author, knows about it. He's fixed it. It should be okay in the next version, which I look forward to playing. So that's it for this demo of Thief. I'm going to close this video out now by hitting the F1 key. This will stop the Bandicam recording. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how I use the VSDC video editor for combining video segments together into one video and also applying gamma corrections to the Thief segment. So I've got Bandicam running here, and in fact I started this recording using the Bandicam button here because the F1 doesn't work with the VSDC. It thinks F1 is a request to get help. That's okay, I can start it from here. So note that as before, I'm in the screen recording mode. I've got the full screen, 1680 times 1050, and I explained how to get that. And I've checked these settings before starting it. Microphone for the primary sound, disable the secondary sound, that's okay. I got the mouse cursor and the mouse click effects. So everything is ready to go. I'm recording. And I can put this on the taskbar. All right. Just to check. Still running. All right. So now I'm going to go into the VSDC free video editor and start. First thing I need to do is to start a new project, which is right here. So to begin with, you'll notice that the resolution is not what I want. I want the resolution that was used in Bandicam to record the videos. So I'm going to make that custom resolution. For some reason that does the incorrect thing. You have to click it again. It's kind of odd, but in the end it works, kind of. So as a reminder, here are the Bandicam settings. I want 1680 by 1050. 1680. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to name the project Test Combining Segments and Gamma. Everything looks fine here. 30 FPS, that's good. Finish. So by default, when I start a new project, the editor brings up this file sequence wizard. This is great if you know exactly how many files you have, know what order you want them to be in. It's a very convenient thing to use. I don't like it much, to be perfectly honest, because it's lacking in flexibility. It's really hard to add things to something that's already been created this way. So I'll just show you how this works for the record. So this is the first Bandicam recording I made showing how to use Bandicam. I'll stick that in the first one. There you go, drag and drop. This is the thief recording I just made. Stick that in there. I'll click on this effects button. I want a fade effect. I want the fade out. And I'll add the effect. So it's in there. This is a preview of what it looks like. That's great. Before I can use this stuff, I have to apply the settings. That uploads that stuff from my desktop into the video software. All right. So the stuff is in there. The two video segments are contained in this sprite one. You can see them there, all nice and lined up. Now that's great as far as it goes, and if that's all you want to do, it's wonderful. But as I said, I think it's lacking in flexibility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all this. I'm going to delete the sprite by right-clicking on it, clicking on delete. And now there's nothing in there anymore. All right, so I'm going to go back to this set of files here. I'm going to drag them and drop them as before, except this time I'm going to drag them into this window, the project window. So I release my mouse and it gives me another cursor. I drag out the size. This size is meaningless. What you want to do here is set it to be the same size as the parent. The parent in this case is the project. So when I do that, it expands out. And now it's 1680 by 1048. That's what I want. Now, the next thing I add, I could add it to the end of this one by moving the cursor, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the cursor where it is and show you what happens and how to correct it. All right, we'll go back into this listing, and I'll take that thief video. I'll drag him in here, spread it out, set the same size as the parent. So they're both in there. Now you can see, instead of the thief one following the Bandicam one, it's at the same time. That's obviously not good. That can be fixed by first selecting the Bandicam one, holding down the Shift key, selecting the thief one. Now they're both selected. And now there's a tool here which says Set Blocks in Order. Click that. Voila. If I had set the cursor to be at the end of the Bandicam, that would have gone in that order in the first place. But now I'm going to click on the thief one, select it. I'm going to move the cursor to the beginning of it. And now I want to play the preview. It'll play starting with the thief one. So here's my thief segment. This part, nothing's going on, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. So there's the actual thief part of it. It's kind of dark, don't you think? When I turn it around and look at those buildings, it's really quite dark. That's unacceptable to me. I'm going to stop that. The reason it's too dark is because Thief always outputs screenshots and videos as if you were using gamma at the 50% mark. And this is fine, I suppose, if you have an ultra-bright monitor. But many people, such as myself, do not play with gamma at 50%. And they and I like to see gamma set the way it looks in the game. And even if you have a super bright monitor, I urge you to make this correction, because what it does is it makes the thief video consistent with videos you find everywhere on the internet. Otherwise, they're just plain too dark. So, to put the color correction in the thief, I select the thief segment. I got to stop the preview first. All right, stop. I select the thief segment. I right-click on it. I select video effects. I'm actually just hovering the mouse, not clicking on it. And go to adjustments, and then I find brightness, contrast, and gamma. I want to change the gamma, so that's the one I want. I click on it. So this first window gives me options for positioning the correction. I want it by default as the whole parent duration, which is the duration of the video clip. So I click OK. You can have the effect over different time segments, and you can stretch it and so forth with the handles you get here. But right now it's the duration of the video segment, which is what I want. So these are the effect settings right now. These are all 0 and there's no effect in there. So I'm going to click on the gamma one. So you see it has an initial value and a final value. You can set those separately if you want, or you can set the main one and it'll all follow. I'm going to set it to 10. This is a trial and error number. It's VSDC's own scale. It bears no relationship to anything you've ever seen before. And so you just have to figure out what that is by trial and error. And 10 works for me. So if I click on here, it propagates the 10 down. Not that you have to do that. And you can see it's changed the brightness or the gamma on this frame. You can see that immediately. So I'll hit the preview again. It's playing. I'll skip ahead. Okay. It's a lot more satisfactory to me. This is the setting in which I play Thief. So if you look around, you can see the architecture fairly clearly, and that's what I want. Okay, that's done. So now I want you to see the contents of scene 0. Double click on that. Puts me into the Object Explorer. I've got this video right here. I've got the effects that are applied to the video underneath it. And then I've got the video for the Bandicam segment. That's all I need. If this were all I wanted, with no transitions and no other clips or anything, I'd be ready to export the project. So I'll show you how to do that, but I'm not actually going to do it because this project is meaningless to me. All right. So there's a certain profile that comes up by default. And after looking around on the internet, I figured this wasn't what I needed. What I need is to have a profile that allows me to export high resolution 720p videos to YouTube. So I'm going to edit the profile. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is pick the profile I want. This is what I had. This is what I want, the highest quality H.264 on recommendation of others. All right. Now, the resolution has to be changed. I don't want the original, which in this case is the Bandicam size. When I use that and export it to YouTube, it resizes everything down to low resolution and makes a mess of it. So I need to set this to a custom resolution in this case. The 720p is not among the choices, unfortunately. So now I have to put the frame size for that in there. That is something I forget, so I find it in this post at the testing forum. 1280 by 720. Okay. 1280. $720. Okay. That's good. Now I need to change the bit rate. You see it's got 600 frozen in there. I can't change it. So to change that, I hit configure. It's not clear where that 600 comes from. Single pass, I clicked two pass. Oh, there's your 600. Okay, but single pass doesn't work. It happens, so I have to go back to single pass. There's your 600. I want to change that to 4,500. This is a little bit arcane, I will admit. You just have to learn how to use it. So I click OK. Now my 4,500 is in there. My resolution is in there. MPEG layer 3 is fine. Audio bitrate, I don't need that. I can change that to 128, which is kind of customary. Frequency and channels are original. That's fine. I'm going to apply this profile. All right. Don't let that name fool you. It's not 224 bits per second. I set it to 128. Okay, I just paused the recording by hitting F2 and went back to it, and that seems to be working. All right, so I've got this new profile in there, and don't let this name fool you. Look at the profile again, it really is 128 kbps for the audio. I can change the name if I want to, but there's no need. So I've got my profile set up. I've got everything, all my video stuff in the project. I want to convert it to AVI for exporting. Now if I hit this convert files, it will begin the export. The problem is when Bandicam is running, it chokes. It needs a lot of resources to do the export, so it won't work. I need to close down Bandicam before I can hit that convert files. But if I close down Bandicam, it will stop the recording. So trust me, what you need to do is you need to close down Bandicam and then hit convert files, and it will start a lengthy conversion process. And then you will be able to upload the resulting AVI to YouTube. Oh, I should have mentioned one thing. This output file, you can change this name and where it's located by hitting on this one, change name. All right, so that's it. This is how to use the VSDC. I'm now going to stop the recording and do the actual export of a real project containing all my clips that I'm about to create. Okay, well that's the end of the demonstration. I hope you liked it. So to recap, I've explained how to use Bandicam to capture videos, either screen videos or videos from a game like Thief. Then I explained how to use the VSDC free video editor to assemble clips, multiple clips, into one video, and how to use the editor to apply a gamma correction to a Thief video so the color balance looks correct. Finally, I explained how to use the VSDC export to create a 720p output file that is ready to be uploaded to YouTube. So I hope it all works for you, and thanks for watching.